Ah, hey! Looks like we have the gardens all to ourselves. I'm Dazzling Dan the Magic Man, and welcome to the Geelong Botanic Gardens. I thought I'd turn over a new leaf and try gardening. So today, perhaps we could create some... That wanted to be leave it alone. We're going to perform some magic here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens. What's that? And maybe do a little bit of magic as well. Cool. Because with a little bit of magic, you can create all sorts of crazy, amazing things. Here at the gardens, there's a lot of magic. The trees grow, the caterpillars turn into butterflies. As a magician, I like to try and create those sorts of magical moments just with a click of the fingers. So let's try that. But before we do, I'd like to check that the waiting room's open. Are we letting people in? Excellent. Thank you if you're waiting. Let's start the magic anyway. This, an empty tube. And I'm going to ask you children at home to help me with a lot of the magic. In fact, I might even invite you to participate later and choose what happens next. But first, I need you to help me start the show by making something appear inside the tube. Can you say abracadabra? Abracadabra. I need a magic wand. Maybe it's at my potting table. And why can't I? How about we plant something? I have a great idea. If we can't do it by magic, let's just do it by gardening. I'll pop in one of these biodegradable little pots and a little bit of soil. Oh. And if we give it a shake, it's an abracadabra. Let's see how we went. Wonderful. Thank you, girls, boys, humans. We have created some magic and planted some flowers. Now, in fact, I would like to try something very special today. Perhaps today we could magically grow the rainbow fairy flower. For the rainbow fairy flower, you need a magical crystal from the fairy ferns, and then you can grow... Whoa, did I say grow again? I grew some more flowers. We can magically grow a rainbow fairy flower. Come join me on this adventure. Let's go over to the fairy fernery. I'll pick up my mess. Oh, it's lovely. The sun's come out today, isn't it? Here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens. And just a reminder, we are covered in dirt and we are live. And usually for Children's Week, we'd be here or at the Geelong Stadium entertaining you with all sorts of fun activities here in the city of Greater Geelong. But unfortunately, well, fortunately for you, you're in the cozy lounge or somewhere nice and warm. But you're getting to see some magic live now. Let's head over to the fairy fernery and see what we can find. Oh dear. It's mystic. Well, it's mystic. Or as the city of Greater Geelong would call it, a tripping hazard. But watch this. If I say stick, we'll do some magic with the stick. We can make the stick stick to my hand. Voila! Not just that hand, let's try this one. Abracadabra. Stick to the hand. Yes, yes, yes! Excellent. And back again. And back again. And which finger? That finger? In fact, I'll try it with my thumb. Stick. Stick. Stick to my thumb. Whoa! I thought the stick was sticking to my hand, but it appears that I'm using the force to create the stick to jump to my hand. Let's try that again. Float up. Float up. Stick. Just had to call out by name. Let's try it at the fingertips. Can I make the stick stick to my fingers? Yes. Amazing. Sometimes the stick's not sure which hand to fly over to. This hand or that hand. Wonderful. Do you know what's brown and sticky? Ah. That's a clue. Let's go. Oh my, what is this? Girls and boys, do you know what this means? Does that mean I have to stop the magic show already? It's alright, we'll wait for it to turn green. Green means go. Oh, let's do some magic with it while we wait. I'm going to lie it sideways. And look at that, the red dot is on the right hand side. Would you like to hold up your right hand? Very good, very good. Even Ian the cameraman held up his right hand. That's my left. That's where it gets confusing. I will pop this behind my back and abracadabra. It jumps from side to side. What do you think of that? I'll do it again, just in case you missed it. It is now on your left hand side. But if I put the red dot on the left hand side behind my back, it jumps. Now I know that might have impressed some of the adults, but children, I know that you've switched on and figured out exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to do something even more amazing. Watch this. Abracadabra. The dot goes behind my back. Not only does it jump from here to here, but it actually turns green. Just as it should. That means go. And I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, whoops. Man. Alright, I was just turning it around and flipping it over to do the magic, but let's do some magic. Let's make the red and the green join each other. So we want the red to be here and the green to be here. Can you say abracadabra? Abracadabra. And look at that. Now we have a red and a green. It's just not my day today. Well, we're missing a yellow, but we don't want the yellow to be there. We want it to be there, right? So what magic word could we say? Abracadabra, hocus pocus, hello yellow. How about hello yellow? I'll see if I've got some yellow with me. There was a flower here that was quite yellow. We could use that. Or there was some yellow leaves. Can you see any yellow here at the gardens that we could use? Oh, look at this here. All right, because if we can grab some magic from the nature and throw it on the traffic, oh, well, there we have it. You don't have to understand it. I don't know what I'm doing half the time either. Can you say the magic word? Abracadabra. Abracadabra. And let's see how we did. Did we make a full traffic light? Glowing red light, yellow, amber, and the green. Oh, that reminds me, I got a little bit distracted by this. We were heading over to the Fernery to see if we can find that glowing crystal. Let's go. May as well take my props with me. It's pretty impressive what these virtual backgrounds can do nowadays with Zoom. Oh, there you are. You frightened me and you frightened my friend Stan. Okay, over here. I didn't know the cameraman jumped behind the tree. I thought he was a big bad wolf for a second there. I've heard reports a big bad wolf has been spotted in the botanical gardens. You know, without all the people around, all the creatures come out and play. Now, my favourite part here at the Botanic Gardens is the fairy fernery. And if you're lucky, you might just happen to spot some fairies. You might hear something. That's the waterfall. Aha! Look! I knew I'd find it here, planted in the ferns. What people might think is a bit of leftover snow from last night here in Geelong is in fact a fairy crystal. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but we'll see if we can get it to glow. We might need to find some shade. Maybe over here. Is this a shady spot? Alrighty. You can see it's crystal clear. Right, but I'll see if I can concentrate and get it to illuminate a little. Can you see that? Can you see any colour? No? Maybe we could try it somewhere darker. Come over here. Let's get up nice and close. Here we go. If I concentrate, I hold it in my hand. Can you see it glowing a little? Is it glowing? Orbing? No. Bit hard to see. That's right, this is a magical glowing crystal. I'll show you when we return live in person. But let's plant this now and create a beautiful rainbow flower, a fairy rainbow plant. Let's head to over. It's a little bit windy, isn't it? Now, because we're filming here at the Botanic Gardens, we have to go off track a little to a secret hiding place that's probably never seen before. Now, you shouldn't really leave the garden path when you come and visit the Botanic Gardens because, you know, I was about to say, you know what you meet when you go off track? You might meet the big bad wolf. And look, evidence. Oh yes, it definitely is a big bad wolf sandwich. Have you seen one of these? Whoop. The big bad wolf loves its white bread, lettuce. That's a good boy. We've got some cheese here, Swiss cheese. Smells like big bad wolf breath. And of course, a big bad wolf eats a ham sandwich. And that's how you know if you find a big bad wolf sandwich, it's a ham sandwich. So, it's been here a while. We better pick that up. We don't leave that here. Right, let us continue. I said, let us continue to my potting area. Finding the big bad wolf sandwich actually reminds me of a fun magic trick that I love to perform. It's a story about a couple of friends of mine. Perhaps you've heard this story before. It involves 3 little pink guys. Wink, wink. See? 1, 2, 3. And they lived in 3 houses. 1, 2, we'll represent the houses with these cups. Does this story sound familiar? 3 little piggies. This was the big brother. This was the sister. And this was the baby. And once upon a time, the baby pig who lived in this house, a house made of straw, decided to go to market. Here we go. This little piggy went to market, and on his way there, he encountered the big bad wolf. Oh dear. So he ran back home. Unfortunately, the piggy had left his keys inside. Let's hear an oh dear. Oh dear. And now he had one thing to do. He was going to jump down the chimney to get inside. Now Ian's just going to get comfy. Yep. Pull out the tripod. Wonderful. I don't want you to miss this, girls and boys. There we go. So Ian, can you see the little piggy on top of his little house? Yes, we cover him up. And I need my magic wand. Nope, not that one. This one. And let's see how we did. The piggy should have jumped down the chimney and now appeared inside. If you find that amazing, give him a clap or an emoji clap. Well done. So the magic, of course, is the little piggy passed right through the cup. These cups don't have trapdoors. I'll show you, look. See, if it did, the wand would go right through and out the other end. But we know that's an illusion. Now, if you've heard this story before, the big bad wolf, he didn't mind that the pig was inside because he was a big bad wolf with big lungs and he blew the house down. Whew. Maybe I won't do that today. And the house got blown away. So the piggy had to run to his sister. Can you see the piggy and the sister? Yep. But she was inside listening to loud music. So the piggy had no choice but to jump down her chimney as well. Whoop. Hopefully you can see this. Yes? Excellent. A wave of the wand. And what's a magic word we could use, girls and boys? Maybe you've learnt some today. We have abracadabra, hocus pocus, alakazam. Let's try alakazam. And let's see if the piggy has jumped from the top to the bottom. Yes! Now, unfortunately, although the little piggy was inside the house, this house was made of sticks. And the big bad wolf was able to blow it down as well. Whew. That's out of the story. So now both the sister and the little baby pig had to run to the final house, a house made of bricks. This was a safe house. It was Big Brother's house. It had security cameras everywhere, every room in Big Brother's house. But he wasn't home. He's a brave pig. He'd gone out into the forest. Not here. It's quite safe here. He went out to the Otways. And he came across a big bad wolf. Oh dear. And he hid inside a little cave. And I think we might need your help to save the day here, to save the big pig from being a little bit too brave. What we'll do is squeeze him inside, give him a tap, and a magic word, abracadabra. Let's get rid of the wand. And there he is. And that is the story of the 3 little pigs. Big round of applause. Well done, piggies. Now, of course, if you've heard this story before, you would remember that the big bad wolf, he watches the piggies and he learns to jump down the chimney. And so if you've heard this story before, maybe you've heard the version where they light the fire. And as the big bad wolf climbs down the chimney, he burns his bottom and runs away. Oh, just like the piggy ran away. It's quite safe, piggy, it's quite safe, remember? So, that is my magical telling of the story where we had a piggy that lived in a house of straw. There goes the straw, gone with the wind. This little piggy's house was made of sticks and this little piggy's house of bricks. And that is my story of the 3 little pigs. Now, like I said, a lot of these stories have different endings. Maybe in the story you've read, the big bad wolf became friends. Maybe in the story you heard, the big bad wolf hopped in a balloon and flew away. I've heard that one. But now I'd like to share with you some magic and let you choose what happens next. So I've got Ian backstage setting up to take somebody's selection. Now, because we are here at the Botanic Gardens, Geelong, I am going to try and do some magical pottery. We're going to try and grow that fairy crystal, which has disappeared, into a rainbow flower, a rainbow fairy flower. But for that, we will need a few special magical ingredients, including soil. What else do we need to grow plants? Maybe sunshine. What else? We have soil, we have sunlight, and water. We have sunlight, soil, and water. Excellent. Now, Ian, if I could have somebody select one of these 3 things. So we're going to invite you out there to choose either the sunlight, the soil, or the water. And I'm going to ask somebody to select one of these, and I'm going to read your mind. And in fact, I've already read your mind. I predicted the future. I've guessed exactly what you're going to choose. And you might wonder, how is that possible? Well, I've written down exactly what you're going to choose. I've written it down as a prediction. And as soon as someone raises their hand...
We've got Daisy here.
Daisy. Hello, Daisy. You have shown that you want to help me with this magic trick.
Daisy just has to unmute.
So Daisy, if you could please unmute your microphone, and we should be able to hear your voice. No? Ooh, maybe we could have someone else select one of these 3 items. The sunlight, the soil, or the water. Megan? Hello, Megan.
Megan's chosen water.
All right, Megan has chosen water. Now, remember I said I'd written down my prediction? Oh, man. Blown away with the wind. Have a look what I've written on the water. I've written, you will choose me. And the soil down here does not have that. And I did not write it on the sunshine either. Megan, thank you for choosing water, because that was the one I actually wrote that on. You will choose me. Now, you might be wondering, how is that possible? Well, the secret is actually learnt that from a friend of mine here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens, and he is a worm. Mr. Worm. And I thought I could hear him earlier. And I'm wondering maybe Mr. Worm can do a magic prediction trick and guess another thing that one of you out there will choose. So I'll have Ian look for someone to choose the next item. Just raise your hand if you want to participate, and I'll see if I can catch a worm just behind me. I'm sure I can hear Mr. Worm. Got him. Right, this is Mr. Worm. Not only does Mr. Worm do amazing magic. Am I in shot, Ian? Yep. Mr. Worm does all sorts of impersonations as well, like a moustache. What's that, Mr. Worm? Wrong end. What's that, Mr. Worm? Oh, Mr. Worm would like to show you his impersonation of the white painted line that goes down the middle of the highway. Okay, I'm familiar with the broken white line, but you would like to show us your impersonation of a straight white line going down the middle of the highway? Okie dokie, let's do it. Give him a clap, that's amazing! A straight white line, just like the one that goes down the middle of the highway. Well done, Mr. Worm. That's not very magic. Can you do something else? Oh, he would now like to do his impersonation of a plank. And what do you do? All right, he needs my help. He looks a little bit floppy at the moment. Have you ever seen a worm magically hypnotized in the wind? What about this end? Wow. If you find Mr. Worm amazing, give him a clap. Well done, Mr. Worm. That was a backbreaker. Now, Mr. Worm, are you going to perform your amazing mind reading trick? Oh yes. So Mr. Worm is going to draw a picture on a clipboard. So Mr. Worm, here is a texter. Let me remove the lid. Here is the clipboard. Get to work. Now, Mr. Worm is drawing what looks to be a house. And we're going to ask somebody in the audience to choose something. Is that right, Mr. Worm? Okie dokie.
Daisy's ready to go.
Daisy, you're back and you're going to help me with this magic. Excellent, Mr. Worm. Oh, wow. Look at that. Mr. Worm is an amazing artist. Hi, Daisy.
Yes,
Hi.
he does.
I can hear you now, Daisy. Do you like Mr. Worm's picture?
Yes.
That,
I could already hear you.
oh, you could already see me. I'm glad everyone can see me. Well, Daisy, this is a
You
pic.
walk down my street.
Who's asleep?
One of my brothers thinks down my street.
One of your brothers thinks that you're asleep, but you're really on your iPad? Yes, we have that problem in our house too. Okie dokie. Mr. Worm has drawn a house that's not blown out. Ian, you can see that in the shot. Excellent. Now, Mr. Worm, you're going to guess what Daisy chooses. So Mr. Worm needs the red texter. And Mr. Worm is going to colour in, Daisy, either the wall of the house, or Mr. Worm might be colouring in the ceiling, which is the inside of the roof. No, actually, that'll be the roof, the outside of the house. All done, Mr. Worm? Okay, Daisy, I'd like you to choose the roof or the wall. The wall. Do you think Mr. Worm coloured in the wall? Let's see. You guessed right. Ta-da! Look, is it a red wall?
No.
Is it a red roof? Mr. Worm!
No.
Oh, Mr. Worm, look. He left the lid on. Mr. Worm. My fault. It's not funny. The worm didn't even do it. I'm going to have to save the day with some magic. Is that okay, Mr. Worm? I'm sorry. Next time, I'll have to remember to take the lid off. How can I do this by magic? A rainbow silk will do. Daisy, you asked Mr. Worm if he'd coloured in the wall. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the roof. So, abracadabra, we'll use this rainbow silk and we'll see if we can colour in. Abracadabra. There we go, the wall. Can you see that?
Roof.
Excellent. Now, that's disappeared with the wind. Had you chose the roof, well, that wouldn't have worked, so I'd do some more magic. Watch this, Daisy. Can you do this with your finger? And I might get everyone else that's watching to do this with your finger. Okay, are you doing that? It's quite noisy here. You might not be able to hear it on the microphone. What if I turn it up? I've turned it up. Alright, here we go. Watch this. You should see the picture starting to move. Can you see that in the camera? Hey!
It's turning.
So had you chose the roof, well, you might call this cheating by magic. We can make the house wall become the roof. Ta-da! Good spinning of the finger. Well done, Daisy, and well done. Thank you everybody else that helped out with that magic trick. That's really cool. So now I have painted the roof. Wouldn't that be easy if you just paint the wall of your house and then magically turn it around and now it's a roof and you don't have to climb on the roof? Thank you very much, Daisy, for helping me with that magic trick.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye. Now, talking about Mr. Worm reminds me of when I was here in the gardens.
You're still here.
I'm
Where's the main source one?
just around that way. Yep, just keep following the track. All right. Last time I was here at the Botanic Gardens, I was playing card games. Maybe you play card games too. Does anyone play Snap? That's a fun card game. Uno. Maybe some of the newer card games like the emoji game or Slapsy, Uno Flip, all those new games. Well, I was playing with a bat. If you've been here at night, you might see some of the bats here at the Botanic Gardens. And the bat was complaining that the cards were too big. Really? Are these too big? Maybe for a bat. So we're going to do some magic trick, one of my favorite tricks. We're going to shrink the cards with a shrinking of your fingers like this, like you're squeezing something. Don't do that, that's a growing trick and we don't want the cards to grow bigger. We want them to shrink so that a bat can play card games with me. So do this with your fingers and can everybody say shrink, 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 shrink. And if I squeeze them in my fingers, oh, look at this. We can shrink the cards. It's a little bit subtle, but if I hold the original card right beside the rest, you can see they have all shrunk. Now that's fine. I was playing cards with the bat, but then along came a caterpillar. Now the caterpillars are really hard to find here in the gardens. They're easier to find in your lettuce at home. And the caterpillar wanted to play card games, but these cards were much too big for the caterpillar. Really? Are they too big? So we're going to have to shrink them some more. Again, can you do this with your fingers, girls and boys? Oh, and don't do this to my head. You know where you get your head right there and go, pfft. That's not very pleasant. Can you say shrink, 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 shrink? Ugh. And if I squeeze them on the edges, we should be able to get them to shrink into smaller cards, see? So now, much tinier. Can you see those? Now while I was playing card games with the caterpillar and the bat, along came a worm. Mr. Worm, and Mr. Worm wanted to play card games too. Now this was a while ago when Mr. Worm was a little bit smaller, and so Mr. Worm wanted these cards to be shrunk as well. So help me out again. Can you do this with your fingers and say shrink, 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 shrink. Ugh. How do we go? And oh my goodness. Now that is silly. Look at that. That is really silly. How small are they? Can you actually see them? We've shrunk them into itty bitty teeny tiny cards. Thank you everybody for helping with that. And that reminds me, that day that I was playing card games with the caterpillar and the worm, Mr. Worm told me that he was a silkworm. Now silkworm is a worm that knits those beautiful silk handkerchiefs that magicians use, like that one that flew away in the wind. I have a rainbow square scarf. I've got a few of the other silks that Mr. Worm has made. Let me show you. They're all in this worm cabinet. What's this? Oh, that's a rainbow silk scarf. What do you think? It's a beautiful silk scarf. It's kind of rainbowy. No, if I give it a shake though. There we go. Can you see that in the light? Excellent, excellent. But we're not looking for that. We're looking for a very special silk that the silkworm made. I'd like to show you a portrait of a caterpillar. Somewhere in this box of silk handkerchiefs. Here it is. Okay. So Mr. Worm made this beautiful picture on a silk of the caterpillar who was with me playing cards. Can you see the caterpillar? Oh, Mr. Worm, you forgot to add the colours. Perhaps with your help we could add some colours to this one as well. We just made that silk scarf all rainbowy. Yes, I have one idea. Perhaps we could hold this behind the caterpillar. It's a square as well, and if we hold it behind the caterpillar, it will be like a LED light window. Voila! Thanks for staying with us. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical issues, which is very tricky here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens. We're out in the middle of nowhere, so we've got this cool little setup. And I was about to share with you the story of this cheeky caterpillar that snuck inside the worm's silk cabinet. This is where the worm keeps all his silks. And while the caterpillar, this very hungry caterpillar, was inside, the worm began to put his silks away. See that hole? That's a wormhole. And if you push the silk in, you can tuck a whole bunch of them in here and they don't fall out the front. Let me demonstrate. Well, on this day, the caterpillar actually was inside munching away. Can you make a munching sound? Nom, 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 nom. No, that's a Cookie Monster, isn't it? Ouch, something bit me. So as the silk got pushed inside the box, it got eaten by the hungry caterpillar. Look, it's gone inside his tummy. But the worm didn't know the caterpillar was eating his handkerchiefs inside. And the worm began to put the beautiful silk scarf inside as well, right through that hole, right into the caterpillar's mouth. And again, make a munching sound. Om nom 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 nom. Wow, that is a lot that this caterpillar's eating. Imagine if he was sick, it'd be multicolored. Oh, that's disgusting. Sorry, girls, boys, humans. Here we go. We push it inside. Make sure it does not fall out the other side too. That wouldn't be very magic if it was just falling out the other end. And let's see, how do we go? Oh, I can still see some colour poking out this side. Ow! He's really biting me as I do that. Did the silk handkerchief really disappear into the caterpillar's tummy? Yes, it did. And if you have a look, you'll notice the caterpillar's tummy has gotten bigger from all those silks he's been eating. Now, oh, what are you doing? Oh, he's still hungry. He's going for those ones that just blew away. Bear with me. I'll pick them up for you, Mr. Caterpillar. These ones are blue, yellow, and I think there's a red one here. Yes, he wants to eat those as well. Om nom 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 nom. Now, as the caterpillar wrapped himself around all these silks, he began to form into something very special. Does anyone know what it's called when a caterpillar curls up like this into a ball? At this point in the show, I'd get you to call it out, so scream at the screen. No, you don't have to scream. What does a caterpillar turn into after they've had a big meal? If they want to become a moth, they turn into a cocoon. If they want to become a caterpillar, it is a chrysalis. So, let's see if we can turn this caterpillar into a chrysalis. I've just figured out how we could add some colour to this caterpillar. How about we turn the caterpillar into a butterfly? Then he should be all colourful. Yes, I'm going to stand right beside my table here so that the cameraman can see this. We're going to shake all the silks together. The blue, the red, the rainbows, the black and white cat. Oh, there he is. Hello. Can you wave your hands like a butterfly? Shoo away the mozzie that's there and say abracadabra, abracadabra. And watch the caterpillar as he turns or transforms as all the silks change into one big, beautiful butterfly. If you find that amazing, give a big clap to the caterpillar. I think he's amazing. Well done. There it is, a butterfly in the wind flying away. Now, if we can do that with a colourful silk handkerchief, let's do it with the crystal that we found, the fairy crystal. We're going to try and plant a magical, colourful fairy flower. I will need a vase. I happen to have an enchanted vase with me today. Well, that's what it said on the description at the magic auction. I don't know why it's enchanted. And we need some water. That's not going to work. Some water. I'm just going to step back here over so we're not wasting water. Any drops will go on the garden. Excellent. That might have been too much. I'll just right. Now what we need is the crystal. There it is. I knew I dropped it. Now, did I get rid of the water? There. Okay. I remember last time I did this magic trick, I put in too much water, and when I tipped it out, one of the fairies in the trees made more water reappear. Like that. What? Okay. So we've got the crystal in there. No, there it is. I tipped it out. And did I tell you how a fairy did some magic from the trees last time I did this? And after I'd emptied this out, more water came out? Right. Oh, I tipped out the crystal. I'll pop that in there. Right, let's do the magic. I'm going to cover this up with a cloth. I better add some water because right now there's no water in there. What? I get all confused. All right, where is that? We'll grab this tube. We'll grab some more soil, water, sunshine, protect it from the bats and the kangaroos here at the Botanical Gardens. And if you say the magical word, girls and boys, abracadabra, abracadabra, let's see if we can make some magic. Oh, voila! Looks nice, doesn't smell all that great. Girls and boys, unfortunately that brings us to the end of this crazy zany magic exploration through the Geelong Botanic Gardens. I encourage you to join us for more fun and adventures at the City of Greater Geelong website, where we have Children's Week. And this is the first online Children's Week here at the City of Greater Geelong. And there are lots of things you can do. There's lots of pre-recorded shows and there's lots of live events. Well friends, that concludes the magic show here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens. And if you're wondering, yes, we had exclusive access to the new communal area here at the Geelong Botanic Gardens. I'm Dazzling Dan. Have a wonderful Children's Week 2020 here in Geelong, and I'll see you next time. Bye.